Awesome. Well, I'm here with Ly Thuy Mai of 7thirty Creative. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. No, this is really exciting for me to be here. I've seen all these videos on LinkedIn, so I'm excited to be in one of them.
Cool. Yeah, so you and I met through Melody Brown, who I met through her brother Tyrone, Tyrone Poole. And you've been in the Script Founders group for about a year. But I want to go back to when you first started 7thirty Creative. Like, give us, you were in London, you came to LA, and then you found your way to Portland, or give us kind of the whole story.
Yeah, so I was actually raised in Portland.
Okay.
Raised in Portland, left to LA for about 10 years where I did corporate and marketing. And then when I got pregnant and was going to have my son, I needed the grandparents around.
Okay.
And so I came back to Portland. One of the important things to note, though, that I think that really drove my career and my business choices was that growing up in Portland, I never saw any women running companies.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw that badass woman CEO.
Yeah.
I never saw a lot of people of color running companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I had to get somewhere that looked like that. And so I left to Los Angeles, where I got to see a lot of that.
Okay.
What was really cool is that when I came back to Portland 10 years later, the entire landscape had changed. And it's not that it had caught up to places like LA or New York, but there was a real movement happening here where
Awesome.
I started to see people that looked more like me and looked more like the people that I had grown up with.
Yeah. And so, but the business environment, were you at an agency where they just weren't taking your ideas to have this whole personal branding of executives, like leaning into it? Like what made you go like, here's an idea I can run with and make a business out of this?
Yeah, so what actually happened is when I was working corporate, we were running big experiential marketing campaigns for events. And so much of that was during the time that Instagram had started to pop off and happen. And people were starting to take social media more seriously. People, but not executives. Because we couldn't measure yet how social media was helping the bottom line of the business.
Okay.
And so in my marketing, with the marketing that I was doing, we were storytelling, we were creating the social media, we were trying to get the big players and the leaders that everybody was obviously already paying attention to on the screen, and they all just kept saying no. And I knew that it was a missed opportunity. I knew that there was something there that, whether in that time frame or later on, was going to actually drive the numbers that they wanted to see. And so eventually I left, and I just thought, I know somebody here is going to pick up on this idea, and that it's an idea that can be brought into so many different businesses, big and small. And I just started trying to do it.
Mm-hmm. So just because a lot of my audience might just think like, okay, companies have been doing social media and saying yes to that a lot, but it's like the CEO, how they're showing up in the world and being human, but also embodying the values of their company.
Yeah, so we had kind of talked about this a little earlier. The way that people have started to buy is different, and customer loyalty is different now. And so what we're seeing is that so many people now are buying based on if they align with the values, the personality, the mind frame of the founders. And so when I say big and small, I do mean big and small. I mean the large companies doing 50
the Nikes of the world.
The Nikes of the world. And then the smaller founders who don't have the marketing budgets, but have a face and a belief and a mission of their own. Both of those people, if they can show up in their marketing and have more visibility, it does drive the numbers and the revenue.
Yeah. So let's take an example. So our friend Tyrone.
Yeah.
He's very hard to get a hold of because his company is just taking off like crazy. 6 months ago, he was nowhere to be seen on social media personally. OneApp was doing its corporate marketing, but the CEO, was not really out there. And so you've worked with him, and now I feel like his personal content is everywhere on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and all that stuff. And how is that, you would think, okay, that's going to drive more business, but we were talking over coffee earlier that you're like, it showed up in unexpected ways. So like,
yeah, so what was really cool is we saw the measurements that we wanted to see, like the visibility to him, then moving over to OneApp, his company. We saw that happening in the way of traffic, in the way of likes, everything. But what we also saw was something really cool. We saw that the culture of the company and the communication between him and the employees that he's hiring, his team is hiring, which at this rate is like 10 to 20 a month.
Yeah,
that
insane.
Culture and tie and relationship got stronger. And we were able to see that people felt like the CEO and the leadership of the company was more accessible, which meant that they wanted to work for a company like that. We saw that they were relating to the things that he was sharing on a personal level and realizing that the reason they were at this company was actually more than just a paycheck. And so we were seeing so much happening internally with the leader of this company sharing his life and being available.
Yeah. And he is, and like me, he's an oversharer, like he shares, which I love. Okay, so tell me about, when we met about a year and a half ago, things were tough, and and like, do you think things in the market has shifted, or is it the way that you're running your business? Because like things are really growing for you. You've got like 10 contractors you work with in your company, and you're in the business, but you're also working on growth strategies, all of that stuff. I'm not asking for a plug for Script Founders, and but like, what happened in the market? Because I think a lot of my audience, all they hear is like, man, Portland business owners are just constantly struggling, and there's no bright spots. But like, sometimes that's yesterday's story, and today's story is there are some growth areas there, and you're an example of that.
Yeah, we talked about this being both personal, there being a personal reason for this, and then a professional reason for this. And Script Founders definitely has something to do with this, so we can plug away. So I have, I'm a single mom to a 7-year-old, and I raise him all the time, 100% of the time. And so on a personal level, it was that I was able to dedicate more time to changing my mindset about business. Where I think Script Founders came in is that I could have dedicated that time and energy to any group or any type of learning and growth, but I happened to come here. And what it did for me is it took me out of that Portland sucks, no one's making money mind frame, and it put me in a room with business owners who may still have been struggling in different aspects of their business, but the numbers that they were talking about and the growth they were talking about and the just business acumen that they had and the attitudes of let's keep going, we got this, took me out of my funk. And it put me in a room where I could relate to everybody, and maybe my shame wasn't so big because they also were dealing with some of the same things, but it also just made me elevate my thinking. My numbers got bigger. The amount of clients I could take on didn't feel so scary. I felt braver knowing that all of these other people were having success and that I could do it too. I needed to see it.
So good. Yeah, I mean, it's so many people don't realize how lonely it is, when you have 10 people around you in your company and all that, but you can't share all these things, and it's all like mindset is everything, and reframing, oh, this sucks, to like, okay, that part sucks, but like, man, we can do something really cool over here.
Yeah, I think you have to surround yourself with the right people as well, and I think what the Script has done really well is find those people who, doesn't matter if you're struggling at a certain point or something isn't working, you've put together a group of people who have that keep going. And if you are in a room with those people versus in a room with people where I was a couple years ago, where I was just in a funk, it makes you just get out of it. If I'm in a room with 10 people who are also in a funk, we're not going anywhere.
Well, I mean, what else do we want to talk about? I want to do a quick plug. We've got the Rebuilding Wealth Summit coming up in a couple months, where Arlen Hamilton will be keynote speaker. Other speakers include Camille, Zanelle, and your client, Tyrone Poole, but that's going to be here at Thesis office, and it's going to be awesome. So we'll have more info coming out on that. But is there any last thing that you kind of want the audience to know, either about kind of what's happening with like how AI is changing things, or anything that is, because there's so much that is coming at, because I'm obviously also in the marketing space, and it has been, I mean, change is often really, really hard.
Yeah. And
so I'm just wondering, like, it sounds like things are going really well now, but like, what would you want folks to know that's like a challenge you're overcoming right now?
Yeah, okay, well, just sticking to the AI topic. I remember when, the world kind of caught on to, let's say, ChatGPT when it first came out, and everyone was like, creatives are losing their jobs, we'll never have a career again. I never thought that. I never bought into that. And the reason why was because when I think about my business, I've been in business now for 10 years, all of the best times in my business, the biggest contracts, the biggest revenue years, the best clients, they didn't come through anything digital. Mm-hmm. They also didn't really come through anything marketing. And I hate saying that because I do marketing.
So relationship based.
They came through relationships every single time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so AI doesn't scare me in that way. What I do think is going to happen is the people that adopt AI in a way where it becomes your partner are going to see the most growth in the next few years. And the people who kind of use it without understanding it or rely on it too much and forget that we are humans no matter how many devices we have in our hands, I think those are the people that are going to drop off, and those are the people that are going to see their businesses suffer. But I really do believe as humans, we always come back to this wanting to help the village, wanting to make a change, wanting to connect with another human, and I just don't think that's ever going to go away.
Yeah. So in the next couple of years, robots are not going to take over the world. That's what we know.
There maybe, I don't know, but I'm not scared.
Good. I'm not either. Well, thanks for this. Ending it on a positive note of working with AI as a partner, but also just like really thrilled that you're going from funk a year and a half ago to really thriving. So love to see that. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks, Ly Thuy.